First showed this to me a few weeks before it like really hit, and this is like the best magic app I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that because I love you. I'm saying it for a whole bunch of reasons. But why don't you tell our listeners about the app?
Thanks for that. And it's really great to see you, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, this has been a wonderful few days. Well, this has been a labor of love of mine for a year and a half. It's been in development. I'm so happy to release it. It's I will tell you that, you know, I'm obviously close to it and probably a little biased, but it's the best piece of magic I've ever put out, and it's the best reaction I've ever gotten on stage. And
you're doing this on stage, not just like walk around. You're doing this in your like big full stage show.
Oh, the reactions are huge. You can do this for 1,000 people or more, and they leap to their feet. And I'll tell you what's interesting about it is that it's not a trick; it's an experience, and that's what I love. You are building an experience that everybody gets involved in, and so when the moment happens, and look, at the end of the day, today, that's a hint. It's a reveal of a playing card. It's an explosive reveal of a playing card.
Can you just briefly describe just to what it is? Because I don't want to take liberties with it, because it would be better if you describe it because you're so close to it.
Well, I think it's important to give a bit of history on where it comes from.
Yes, because this is actually a very old trick that I've done, 15 years ago, but in a totally different way.
It's a trick that we all learned when we were starting out in magic or later in magic. It's the wizard.
Yeah.
It's the wizard. You a card is picked. You call a phone number, and the person on the other end tells you what that card is. Now the wizard gives you, there's a couple of methods to the wizard. There's definitely a handful that you can choose from to code that card in some way. I actually have an ebook that I put out to discuss that. I kind of talk about, here are some great methods for the wizard. And it's fun. What this is doing is tackling all of the I'm going to say issues, but the shortcomings of the wizard. It's completely fair and organic. So, card is picked. Any card is named. You can walk on stage without a deck of cards in your hand at all, and a card can simply be named or constructed by several people in the audience. However you want to do it. Random card. And then a phone number is dialed, and that number is entered by people in the audience in full view. So I usually start with an area code that's local, or sometimes people will say, call Ohio, or call Reno, or call, I'm from San Francisco. Let's call them. And we enter in a bunch of numbers, get a random phone number, and we talk to the person on the other end. And that conversation can take place with you, or you can not say a word and just let the spectator have a conversation, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
I did this in Japan about a month or two ago, and I walked up to two female people, two women that spoke Japanese, didn't speak a lick of English. Our friend was with us from Tokyo. She was a translator, and I didn't say a word. They picked a card, any card. They made a phone call to someone in Tokyo. They had a conversation in Japanese. I didn't say a thing, and the person on the other end revealed the card. That's the experience. Yeah, and they went crazy for it. And so that, and it's in its simplest form, its base form, that's what it does. That's what it is. And there's more to it. There's more scenarios. There's more ways to build it out. You can do it completely self-contained. So it really is. It's the cleanest version of this. And what I love about it is that it's an organic thing that we're all used to doing today. We all carry our phones with us. Yeah. So pulling out a phone, making a phone call. But what's really great is the fear of calling a stranger. Yeah. And that's where part of this experience comes into play. When you call a stranger, you can see often when you start that moment of saying, hey, we're going to call this person, we're going to call a total stranger, you can see people in the audience kind of get a little nervous. Yeah. Right? we're going to do what? We're not allowed to do that. We were told to not do that.
Yeah.
We were raised to not do that.
Yeah, I remember getting in trouble as a child for prank calling the operator and just like being grounded for it. And this is like, there's something really deliciously fun about this.
It's visceral.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're giving permission to the audience to do it. And so you do it.
Yeah.
And then someone answers, right? Or, quite often when I perform it, the first number that's called is a disconnected number.
Yeah.
Right? Which
is one of the things that I love about this, because that if your audience is randomly generating a phone number, there's no, if you were doing it for real, which I'm not saying we're not doing it for real here, but if you're doing it for real, they might not get the right number. They might call a number that has been disconnected or has been used by spammers, and so it's been locked down. And there's so many different ways this can go and play out that it's hysterical.
Right, and it's so organic.
Yeah.
Right. So you're building up this anticipation, right? Everybody's really fired up, and then you call that person. You've created a random number, and then the number's disconnected.
Yeah.
Right, and you can feel the air come out a little bit. And then you hit them again.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're off guard.
Mm-hmm.
You put another phone number in, you call, and now you get through to somebody. Mm-hmm. And it's just building that anticipation. And then you have a conversation with them. And in some cases, that conversation on the phone turns into a FaceTime call. And now you have a video call happening. Yeah. And the audience goes nuts for this. And now what is fascinating is once that FaceTime call comes through, once you're having a video call, the audience starts applauding the person on the video. And now it becomes about them, mm-hmm. right? And you're removed from it. It's fantastic.
It's interesting because I would actually put this up there. This is just occurring to me. You've taken something that's been out for a long time and that is sort of like, oh, okay, this is a throwaway thing in a children's book in a library, but you've turned it into something just enormous. I would put this up there with like Invisible Man. I mean, like that kind of work that has been taken from something that is just a whatever into a real powerhouse like showstopper effect. And so I think we can say this reasonably, and if I can't, we can always edit it out. You are not just creating a situation where something is self-contained, but you're also creating a situation, an app that will allow you to call a real person and reveal it. And that what's, to me, the real value in this is that there's a community around this app, a community of people who are using it and then working with each other to make the effect happen. Because I've seen Nick Licapo loves this trick. I mean, he had it before almost anyone else. I don't know how he found out about it, but he was doing it and frying me. And just at the bar, we'd bring people out after a lecture, and he would go, let's do this. And his stranger is a very wonderful human who is just over the top. But there's a Facebook group.
Yeah. And
the community you're building, because I've seen people try and build communities before, and this has taken on a life of its own. Yeah,
I'm really proud of this. So to go back just a moment, the trick does allow it to be completely self-contained. So you can interact with. There are 3 recordings built into the app right now. Mm-hmm. They are phone conversations. They're not just recordings. Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm not here right now. Your cards are 5 of spades. But they're full on phone conversations that sound so real.
Yeah,
so real. And any card that's selected is revealed within that phone conversation.
And the app provides training so that you can get good at it.
Yes.
And you don't have to do it in front of people and learn it, which is it's really important because there have been versions before where there are recordings, but not where you get trained to use the recording.
That's right. And I've tried to really pay attention to making it easy and making an organic phone call. Mm-hmm. And so there are tricks or features built in to make that easy. For instance, if I can just, I might as well, full disclosure on this. The interactions are happening at a certain point, 0s and 5s, right? So in the app, as you're saying, there's training. So you can practice with it, but you can also print out the scripts, right? And the scripts will give you the entire script, the entire time code of the interactions. And you can see that they're happening at whole numbers. So they happen at 20 seconds. They don't happen at 18 seconds. And on the screen, when you place a phone call, there's a timer.
Yeah.
You're being cued in real time. And that is so fun. So as you're watching the screen, you know, well, I've got 3 seconds left here. Yeah. So it's very easy to have a conversation, very easy to learn these conversations, and easy to practice within them. So that is one way to approach it, as you said. The other is to place a live call. That means that you can do this anytime, anywhere, self-contained, with those recordings, or place a live call, and you're still calling a random number generated by people in the audience, but then you're calling someone that you know, and that's where this community comes into play. And people have asked me, well, does that person that I just saw on FaceTime come with the app?
Yeah.
They've actually asked that. And it's a great question. We've got one guy, and he's handling everybody. And he's really, really frustrated. He says, please stop selling this. So, but no, you can call anybody that you want, that you know, that's from your contacts. But also this community has started, and I am so proud of this. When in my mind's eye, I've been developing this for 1.5 years, been performing it for a little over a year. It was always in my mind's eye when we released this to have a community of people. And so I have this private Facebook community, and I thought, well, I'll just make a private Facebook community. I'll just do that. I'll put it out there. People will come on. They'll talk about things. But I always thought it would be really great if there was a way to facilitate strangers helping other strangers. I don't know how that'll happen, but maybe someday we'll get there. Well, this took on a life of its own. And this community on Facebook has grown, and people are helping other people. They are communicating, sharing ideas about how to perform this and tips. Tad Nyland, one of my best friends in the world, who has become what I call the stranger. Yeah. He is the penultimate stranger, in my opinion. He's been performing this for over 1 year with me, and he just gets it. So he's been putting out tips on the community, video tips, Mad Tad tips for the stranger, helping people understand little tips along the way that we've learned, that he's learned. It's great. And so that kind of community is wonderful. But then you build on that to have strangers helping other strangers, offering to be a stranger to somebody else. I thought, well, how am I going to do this? Well, as it turns out, I didn't have to. All of a sudden, I'm seeing this interaction happen on Facebook. I'll be your stranger. Hey, I'll be your stranger if you be mine. So
I joined today because I wanted to, and then I got into the Facebook app and I said, "Hi, my name's Erik. I'm really excited to join this. I hear it's really cool. I'll be any one stranger if I want." And instantly, I had 6 people going, "I'll be your stranger. Can you be mine?" I mean, it was everyone is excited about this and doing it, and I've watched Nick do the trick, and I've also watched Nick be a stranger now, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun to be a stranger. Oh my God, I love being a stranger. Yeah. And something happened. So I saw that interaction happen. So I went on and I said, you know what? You've inspired me. I've now created a Google spreadsheet. If you want to be invited to the spreadsheet, you can email me your appropriate email for Google, and I'll invite you, and you can add your contact information. That spreadsheet will be people that are willing to be strangers to others. I thought, well, that's great. I'll make it easy. Not much pressure on me. I'll invite you, and you can do the rest, right? Because I really want to empower this community to be a community. And I want to help as much as I can, but I want to empower the community. Well, I was heading to Magic Camp in Philly, Tannen's camp, a few weeks ago. I got off the plane in Philly, and Gus Garcia, what a mensch, he texts me. He says, I hope I'm not overstepping here, but I've decided to take that spreadsheet and make a text group out of it. And so now anybody that gets added to the spreadsheet, Gus is adding them to our texting group. And so now we have a texting group where people are texting. I have a show in 20 minutes, and then 5 people instantly will come back with, I'm free, I'm available. It's blowing my mind. I don't know, it's weird because you've created a trick about strangers, but ultimately the trick really is about communication. And by that, it's facilitating communication with others in this really beautiful and bizarre way. Like, I don't, we're
making friends.
I've never seen magicians make friends like this before. It's really a masterpiece. I can't. I mean, I'm supposed to have people onto the podcast to like promote Penguin products, but it's like that's how friggin' good this thing is.
Well, I appreciate that very much. It's very special to me.
Yeah.
This community, I have made new friends,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. And we've been demoing here at Magic Live, and we've been doing the FaceTime calls. And folks have been asking, well, who is that person? And I say, I have to tell you, that's my new friend that I've never met.
Yeah.
You know, but we now are communicating in this way, and we're interacting. It's really great. And we've got people walking around now with pins saying, I'm a stranger.
Yeah.
And we're encouraging folks to go up to other strangers and talk to them.
I want to cover a couple quick things that I think come up a lot with Magic apps. First of all, the user interface is super duper easy. You guys really took care of that, because some app developers are really great, but the interface isn't super easy to use or super intuitive. And in this, it really is. And I'm not naming names, that happens with app development. And the other thing is you guys are planning updates, correct?
Yeah. So I come from a software background. I worked for a major software company for many years, and I worked very closely with developers. I was in the training department. I was in the evangelism department for new products that were coming to market, and it was a major company. So I have a background in that, although I don't write actual code. I do have a background with product development and design. So I think that I know that experience has helped me here, because I want, and I'm also a teacher. So I wanted to create an experience that was streamlined, that was easy, that had no bumps, no obstacles, and nothing to leap over. And so I wanted to be very clean. So I'm very proud of the interface and how simple. I shouldn't use the word simple.
No, it's not simple. It's friendly.
Friendly.
It's easy to get into it, and because sometimes you're not quite there. You have to think too hard, and with this, it's just like a couple of taps and you're done.
And you're in. Yeah. And the settings, there are many settings.
Yeah.
So it's very customizable. But once you're in the presentation, once you're in the performance, it is very streamlined. And so for updates, it's very important to me. And people have asked, well, is this going to be around in a year? I've spent a year and a half of my life on this. And quite frankly, my friends, my girlfriend, they were thrilled to have it released so that I would shut up. Because all I have done for a year and a half is talk about this thing. And my girlfriend, I think she laughed, she knew, because the moment it was released, the only thing I've done is talk about this app. Because now I have this community and I'm interacting and I'm trying to be so engaged online. And so I'm responding to people online and trying to answer questions and trying to be very present. And it's very important for me to be engaged. But also it's important to keep this thing going. So I have plans for updates down the road. We have a maintenance update coming out in about 3 days or so that will address a couple of minor bits in there that don't stop us from performing it at all. Like I said, I've been doing it for over a year. But they're just niceties that will help some things along. So it's a little maintenance update. Then I have an update for iOS 13 because that's coming out with a different phone interface, so that will come out. But we have our site set on a major update coming out just after that, or sometime a little bit after that, which is going to tackle some very cool things. New features will be added. Some behind-the-scenes features will be added to just enhance this thing. And I'm so excited. And part of that update will be international. And I think it's important to address that.
Yeah, because right now you can only use it in the U.S.
That's actually not 100% true.
Okay.
Part of the reason you may feel that is because I have gone overboard with being as transparent as possible and making sure that people are aware of what's happening. And so I've been very conservative in what I've been saying about it. It will work all over the world. Like I said, I just did in Japan.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It will work all over the world today. There are some slight interface changes that happen when you call an international number.
Okay.
And I'm addressing those in an upcoming update. So there are elements that take place. I'll just, full disclosure, I've been very transparent about this. The phone number format in Germany is different than in the U.S.
Okay.
So even though I can call a German number,
it might
look a little different.
If someone notices, but that's one of those things that typically just flies right by lay people.
It usually does. It did in Japan. But it's important to point it out, right? And for some folks, that may be something they want to pay attention to. I feel like as a performer that's something you can get past, but I understand the importance of having that rock solid.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
When I released Lucky Coin, there's 99 things that are perfect and 1 or 2 that aren't, and it's like for most people, they never noticed it, but the few people did, and so it's important to address those things, especially with something that is, I mean, this is not cheap, but it's not like out of the price range of anybody.
Right.
I mean, this is, but I feel like that's set up to like make me feel confident that it's going to be around for a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm very committed to this thing.
Yeah.
And so that's one element of the international. Another is ringtones are different in different countries. So there's a couple of those elements that I'll be tackling in that upcoming update. You'll be able to choose your region, and then the app will change for that region. But as it stands now, it can be performed anywhere in the world. So it's important you understand that.
It's a really amazing app, and congratulations on it. It's super cool, and I'm saying this out of pure love because I can't wait to go out and be a stranger.
Thanks.
So
can I say one more thing?
Yeah, please.
This is amazing. When you are a stranger and you're on the other end of a FaceTime call and you're in front of, could be 3 people, 2 people, or it could be 1,000 people. When they stand up and cheer, but you're the stranger seeing it happen and you know that they are cheering you, that is an amazing feeling. So I love being the stranger as much as I love being the magician.
It's really fantastic. Thanks for stopping by the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of Magic Live.
Thanks, Erik.